Hey guys, this is Naveen here. Welcome back to Naveen Automation Labs and back to our Playwright series, the framework that we were developing last time. Sorry, I could not prepare much videos after the last video that we have seen Playwright integration with Extend report in the framework part. But today we are going to talk about Playwright integration with the Selenium grid. The problem with the Playwright is that we don't have any remote execution concept. For example, with Selenium, we have Selenium grid concept. We can execute the test cases on the Selenium grid with the help of remote web driver. And then we just need to set up the grid hub and node and everything. And then we can just send the URL and with the desired capabilities or Chrome options or Firefox options, and then we can execute that. But with Playwright as such, we don't have any specific remote grid, and we cannot set up the specific infrastructure, let's say on AWS cloud or maybe on any specific cloud that you really want to create a container and then a grid is running over there and sending the request to the grid and test cases are running over here. With Playwright, we don't have anything, something like that. So what exactly Playwright says about it? Playwright says that, okay, yeah, let's see, this is Selenium grid is running and this is your Playwright test cases that you have designed. Doesn't matter in any language, Java, C Sharp, JavaScript, or whatever the Python that you are using it. You can just send the request to the Selenium grid. Yes, I'm talking about Selenium grid, and this is my Playwright script. So yes, they have integration integrated with the Selenium grid as well. So with one single command line argument that you just need to pass, and then you just need to set up your grid the way you use it. And then once it is done, you just send the request and the execution will happen over here on Selenium grid. So yes, that's very interesting. I'll show you the official documentation also, and then we will set up grid, and then we will try to execute test cases on Selenium grid. Which test cases? The Playwright test cases running on Selenium grid. Interesting. Okay. So let me just share my screen. Okay. So see this carefully. First, I'll show you one thing. Let's go to the Playwright documentation and let's go with the Java documentation because we are covering with Java, and let's go to docs. And when you go to docs and you go to the integration section and Selenium grid, you can see that. Okay. So Playwright claims that Playwright can connect to Selenium Grid Hub that runs Selenium 4 to launch Google Chrome, Microsoft Edge browser instead of running browser on the local machine. Exactly. So far, what we have seen, we are just running in the local machine. Now it's saying you can run the test cases on Selenium Grid Hub with Selenium 4 Grid. That also you can use it to launch your Chrome, Microsoft Edge browsers. You can use that. What they just say that, okay, fine, you just need to download Selenium server.jar file and then execute whatever the hub URL that you are using it. So this is your hub URL. Let's see, this server is running on localhost 4444, and then that's it. The Maven, with the help of this Maven command, you can execute that. See, this is a Maven command, and then after that, that's it. So what you can do is here is that you just need to download the Selenium server jar file, and it will behave like a node here. And then this is the hub IP address, whatever localhost IP address that you want to define, you can define that. And when you run it, this is the command line argument that you have to pass here. You can see that. But what we will do that, okay, we will do with the help of Docker, because through Docker, it will be super easy for me. What we can do that is simple standalone mode. If you really want to use, you can set up the grid with the Docker image. And then you can just, within a second, you can just create a container, which is behaving like a Selenium, a grid, a container for me, and which is having a Chrome image, and you can execute your test cases on the Chrome. That also we can do that. Other than that, what you can do, you can create a Docker composer file also, a compose file also you can create, and then you can just set up everything and just need to execute Maven clean install or Maven test along with the Selenium remote URL. You just need to pass it. So I'll show you practically how to do that. So we are going to use Selenium 4 grid, and what exactly I can do here is that we can create one Docker compose file. See, so what we will do, let's go to Selenium grid GitHub page, and let's see, come over here on the first link, and you slightly scroll it down, and then we will find out Docker images for Selenium grid server, but we are looking for latest one, that is Selenium 4. And we will try to set up everything with the help of Docker compose file. So here you can see this is a Docker compose a beta channel.yml file. You can just take this one, and this is actually Selenium for a grid concept. And then you can just set up your Chrome, Edge browser, Firefox, and this is your Selenium hub. that also you can take it and you can define that which Chrome image, Edge image, or Firefox image that you are looking for. And then that's it. In the Playwright configuration, what they say that you just need to add a couple of important configurations. These are the environment variables that you need to pass, and then extra environment variable also, this SE node grid URL also you have to pass that. So you don't need to worry about anything. I'll take care of creating this Docker Compose file and everything. I'll share it with you guys in the GitHub repository also. Just use that Docker Compose file, start the container, and then run the test cases on the Docker machine with Selenium grid. So let's see how to do that. Okay. So the documentation is not that great, but I have already did my POC. So I'll show you. This is the composer file. We can use it over here. So this is, if you have no idea what is Docker or Docker Compose, please go and watch my videos on Docker. I'm sure that, okay, it will help you out that how to set up Docker, how to use the Docker Compose file and everything. So what exactly, I'll just simply give you the basic idea here is that I'm saying that, okay, yeah, I really want to set up my Selenium grid. And this is a Selenium, a Node Chrome, the beta version that I really want to use, or any version that you want to define. Let's see, 105 or 104, if you really want to use that. Then I say, okay, fine, I really want a Selenium, a Chromium image. I want that one Edge image, Microsoft Edge image also I want. And then Firefox beta image also, I really want that. And these are the environment variables that I have passed over here. And this is my Selenium Hub a service image that we have given. This is a container it will be creating, and the container will be running on port number 4444. And all these nodes will be connected with my Selenium Hub. And we are sending the request to the Selenium Hub over here. Okay, so this is a Docker Compose file. And then I'll do one thing. This Compose file, I'm going to save it somewhere in my system. So I'll give you this Compose file. You don't worry about that. I have already prepared it. Go to save as, and let's see, I'll save it somewhere in my documents folder. So I'll go to documents and I'll do one thing. Let's see, I'm going to create a new folder over here. Okay, the folder name that I'm going to write, let's see, playwright underscore docker underscore grid, something like this. And let's create that. And the file name that I'm going to write, see this carefully, docker hyphen compose.yaml file that you have to use it here. And then you simply click on save. The file got saved here. Perfect. Now I'll start my Docker. See, if you don't know what is Docker, how to install Docker, it's pretty simple. What do? You simply go to Google and then you write, let's see, a Docker download. And you go to Docker home and then you can simply click on it. You can download Docker from here, Docker desktop that you have to download. And then you can download for the Mac machine, Windows machine, or the Linux machine also. I'm using Mac machine, so Docker is already actually available in my system, so I don't need to download it again. I just need to start Docker. So once you install it, after that, you simply start your Docker. Same thing you can do in the Windows machine also. So I'm just going to start my Docker container here. So here you can see that, okay, yeah, Docker will be starting in some time. Okay, so see the Docker got started here. I mean, it's okay, still in the pending. It takes few seconds to start the Docker. Okay. So now here you can see the Docker engine, see Docker engine, Docker desktop got launched. Here you can see that. Actually, I clicked 2 times over here, so it's giving 2 icons here. So that's okay. Okay, see, it's saying that Docker desktop is still starting. So once it's coming in the green color, it means the Docker is completely up and running. So now you can see that this is my Docker engine started. Right now, I don't have any image. I don't have any container also. So I'll do one thing. Then I'll go to the directory where exactly that we have stored this Docker Compose file. See, this is the Playwright Docker Compose file that we have saved here, right? So I'll do one thing. I simply go to my terminal after starting my Docker, and then I'll go to that particular directory. So let's go to the directory. I'll do one thing. It's not in my Docker grid. It's actually under documents. And then under documents, okay, let's go to documents once again. This is my Playwright Docker grid. Clear the console. You can check, yeah, this is my Docker compose.yml file is available. So what you just need to do, just need to execute one command, Docker compose up -d. It means I really want to up my infrastructure. It means I really want to set up Selenium grid here. So let's see. So what exactly it will do, it will read that particular Docker compose file that you have created. See, this is the compose file that we have created. It will download all the images mentioned over here. And then on top of those images, number of containers will be created. And then it will set up the complete Selenium grid within few seconds. Okay. Or let's see within few minutes. And here you can see that, okay, yeah, make sure you are connected with internet and see it's actually pulling Selenium Hub image. And then after a few minutes, automatically everything will be created in terms of Selenium Hub. It will start creating all the containers and how many containers that we are maintaining. We are maintaining one container for Chrome, one container for Chromium. And if you see the configuration also, let's see for Chrome, I need maximum node sessions. I'm saying a number of node sessions, 3. For same thing also for Edge, for Chromium also 3, for Edge also 3 maximum sessions we are taking. For Firefox also, you can take it. If tomorrow you really want to add or delete any specific browser information from here, you can remove that as well. So let's see, I'm just going to set up everything from here. So this is like one by one. It takes few minutes to download all the images and then it will start creating the containers. So let's wait for a few minutes and then we will start once again. Okay, so now you can see that it's everything is done. All the images and the containers got created. The status of all my containers. So I'll simply write docker ps -a that how many containers are available in my system. So you can see that we have one container for Chrome, Firefox, Chromium, Edge Beta, and then we have Hub is also running on port number 4444. So we will do one thing. It's running in my local host right now. So I'll just try to access localhost 4444. So here you can see, yeah, Selenium Grid is absolutely working fine. This is your Selenium Grid 4 screen UI. And here you can see that I have Chromium, Firefox, and one Edge browser is also available. Right now, there are no sessions running because we are not running the test cases over here. So what should I do now? That's it. Okay. The setup is ready. Infrastructure is ready. What we just need to do, we need to go to our framework. This is the framework that we have developed so far. So first of all, that we will go to our regression.xml file. And these are the 2 test blocks that we have written, if you remember. And what we can do here is that we will just right click on the project. We will go to the project directory and we will try to run it with one command over here. So what we just need to do, go to terminal and let's go to that project directory. So I'll change the directory to this. Okay. So here you can see that this is a project directory that we are already in, and this is the Maven project. And according to the documentation, what they say is that you just need to pass this argument, Selenium remote URL, Maven test. That's it. So I'll just copy this and paste it over here. And where exactly my Selenium Hub is running, my Selenium Hub is actually running on port number 4444. So I'll write, this is my local host, port number 4444 WD Hub ambient test. And this is a Selenium remote URL that we have to pass. It means I'm running my Playwright test cases with the help of Maven, running the test cases on localhost 4444 exactly means Selenium Grid is running on port number 4444. So let's see, is it really working or not? Okay, so I'm going to run this command and let's see, is it really happening or not? So here you can see that, yeah, the test is getting executed, but it's getting failed. Why? Because I'll tell you, because let's go to the base test and okay, actually we don't need this, remove this. I'll tell you, I'll explain you once again this why we were using this browser name and everything. So just ignore that. I was doing some experiment with this. Let's try this command once again. Okay. So running it once again and let's see this time test got started. Here you can see the browser name is equal to Chrome. Perfect. And see here, because according to our testng.xml file, that is what 2 test blocks that we have written. And then you can see the 2 Chrome got started. And then ideally it should take the concurrency here. It means we are running the test cases on the Selenium grid. So we should get some session information here. So see, let's see this is still running. And let's wait for, now you can see session got started. Can you see some 70% 70% concurrency? And here you can see the test cases are actually running. We can just open in the videos and just enter the password as a secret. And when you click on accept, you will see that it Docker container connected successfully and my test case is actually running over here. Again, you can just check it once again for this container also, and then pass secret as a password here. See, test case are very limited. And here you can see that, see, inside my container, the test cases are actually running. You can see this iMac, Samsung, it is searching that we have written in the framework so far. And see, this is my Selenium grid. Once this is done, you can just close it. And then again, the sessions are done. And then again, back to normal. And here you can see all the 8 test cases that we have written so far, absolutely working fine. And you can see my console output. Everything is perfectly working fine. It means what exactly we have done? We have actually triggered the test cases on Docker, on Selenium Grid Docker, Selenium Hub that we have used here. Perfect. So you don't need to use any remote WebDriver concept, just like we do it in Selenium. We don't need to pass any hub URL programmatically. We don't need to pass any capabilities and all such things. Playwright will take care of it, everything automatically. We just need to pass this command line argument. That is what we are using, this Selenium remote URL. Tomorrow, your remote hub URL is running on, for example, let's see, on AWS or maybe on some VM or maybe on Azure or any cloud. We just need to pass the IP address of that machine and then WD Hub Maven test. That's it. Perfect. Now, can I do one thing that can we achieve the parallel testing over here as well? Like parallel testing, that is what we are doing it, but cross-browser testing is what if I want to run this particular test on Chrome, this particular test on Edge browser, or maybe I want to run on other browser as well. So what I'll do that, let's do one thing. These are the 2 test blocks. I'm going to copy and paste it once again here, right? And I'll do one thing. Let's see, this is running on Chrome. So I'll change some name, Chrome. I'll say, okay, fine. This is running on, let's see, for example, Firefox. I'll say, okay, fine. This should run on Chromium. And let's see, this should run on Edge browser, something like this. So how will you do the cross-browser configuration? So I can do one thing. I can pass a parameter over here. How will you pass the parameter? So I can pass a parameter configuration here, that whatever the parameter name is equal to that, I'm going to use, let's see, a browser. And what will be the value of this particular parameter? So value, I'm saying, let's see, Chrome here. I hope the syntax is correct. Let me check in some other XML file. Let me just take it from, let's see, from here. See, parameter name equal to browser, value equal to Chrome, something like this. You can just use it over here. Okay, this is what exactly we have written. Perfect. Okay. Now let's see for same thing for Firefox. So I'll say parameter name is equal to browser. And for this, I'm going to use Firefox over here. Then same thing, let's see for Chromium. So I'll say, okay, use Chromium browser over here. And let's see for this guy, for Edge, I'm going to use Edge browser here, like this, right? So 4 test blocks that we have written here. And see, this is my first test block. This is my second, third, and fourth one. Okay, let me remove these extra spaces and the lines so that, okay, perfect now. Okay, now, how will you read this parameter in TestNG if you know TestNG already? So these parameters we have to read in base test with the help of @parameters annotation. So I'll go to a base test, and this is my @before test annotation that we have written. On top of that, I'm going to use one @parameters annotation. And which parameter that you really want to read? So here you have to pass the parameter that I want to use my browser name. This browser is actually coming from where? This browser is actually coming from your regression.xml file. So this is a parameter name, the browser. Same name you have to use it over here. Okay, without any spelling mistake. And then this browser will be, browser value means whatever browser value. So for example, TestNG will pick this particular test first, and then it will take this browser value equal to Chrome. So Chrome will be given to this guy, and this guy will send the parameter value to setup method. But setup method should have something to hold the value, right? So that's why I'm passing one parameter over here. For example, you see browser name or any browser, okay, variable name that you can use it here. So this is a browser name. So what is a browser name? It depends which test is running. So let's say this particular test is running, Chrome will be sent. In case this guy, Firefox will be sent. In this case, Chromium, and then Edge will be sent over here one by one, or if you're running in the parallel mode also. Then after that, we have to initialize the property. But if you remember one thing, that when in initialize the property, we are getting the property value from the config.properties. That is also we are maintaining. And in config.properties also, we have, if you go to, let's see, our configuration folder, config.properties, we have this browser equal to Chrome. This is also here. So now which one you have to pick? The property Chrome value, I mean the Chrome coming from the properties, or Chrome coming from the testng.xml file, because here also we are passing the browser. So we have to give the preference to the testng.xml file. We don't need to give the preference to the config.properties file. So what we have to do, how will you change this logic, or how will you maintain this logic? So what we will do this in the base tests, try to see this carefully, because here in the base test, we are calling this initialize browser method. And this initialize browser method is saying, well, fine, a string browser name is equal to, you have to read this get property and read this particular browser value from the config.properties, right? So what I'll do that at the runtime, first I'll check simple if condition. If the browser name that you are using is not equal to null, it means this is a browser name that you are passing it from testng.xml file. If it is not equal to null, means then what you do, prop.setProperty method, you can use it over here. And what is the key that you are using? In my configuration file, I'm using the key as browser. So at the runtime, I'll try to update this particular browser. So it really doesn't matter what you have written Chrome. At the runtime, it is coming as Firefox or Chromium. Automatically, it will be updated with this browser name. That's it. Okay, so at the runtime, I'm just updating my properties with the help of prop.setProperty method. You can use get property to get the value, set property to set the value for this particular key that we are using it here. So what is the browser name? Let's see, for this particular testng.xml file, for this particular test block, the browser name is equal to Firefox. So what will happen? It will come over here, browser name equal to Firefox. Firefox is not equal to null. It means update the browser value in my config.properties. So it will go to my config.properties, and browser equal to Firefox will be updated over here. So it really doesn't matter what exactly you have written here, Chrome, or if you have written Naveen also, it really doesn't matter. This particular value will be updated with the latest testng.xml file. Okay, that's it. After that, we don't need to do anything. And we will go to, after that, whatever the browser value it got set here, it will go to the initialize browser. And now this particular prop will capture the latest browser value, whatever Chromium, Chrome, or Firefox, or Edge browser, or whatever it is. And then we have maintained all these cases over here. But we are not maintaining one case. If you see that for Edge browser, it is missing. So what we have to do, simple write a case for Edge browser also, because browser name could be Edge also. And then instead of this Chrome, we have to use MS Edge over here. Not only Edge, in the set channel, you have to use Microsoft Edge here. And that's it. Perfect. Will this work? Let's see. And make sure that, okay, in your infrastructure, you have all these 4 different types of browsers are available. So what exactly we are going to do that, we will go to our testng.xml file, and we have seen, let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4 test blocks are written. So I'll just increase my thread count, let's see, to around 4 or 5 parallel equal to tests that we are running. And let's see, is it really happening that all the test cases are running in the parallel mode with the cross browser, running the Playwright test cases on Selenium grid? Shall we run it? Let's see. So I'm going to execute Maven test with the same URL that we are passing, and let's see what happens. Oops, so we are getting some exception. Let's see. There are some test failures, and it's saying that parameter must be terminated by the matching. Okay, I think something we missed here. So we have to closing parameter also, right? Okay, so parameter Firefox, this and this. See, we have to close this parameter. So we missed actually this particular one / sign. Okay, let's try to run it again. Don't worry, if you get an exception or something, try to resolve it. Try to see where exactly the problem is all about. Okay, so let's see. So let me just clear the console and let's see what happens. Okay, so this time you can see that, okay, fine, it's reaching at the test site. And now you can see 4 browsers are running in the parallel mode: Chrome, Firefox, Chromium, and Edge browser. And see, it's not running in my local. It's running in my Selenium grid. And you can see that the concurrency will be increased in some time. Right now it's 0%. So let's see, it should be increased in some time. You can see session one started here, session one started here. You go to the session and then see this is a running session here. Perfect. You can just refresh also, see concurrency got increased. And then if you really want to see that my test cases are actually really running, see, you can just say that, yeah, one Chromium, one, okay, on Linux container, it is running. If you really want to see them, you can just click on this video sign and the password is secret. It will ask you one password, just enter the password as secret. Everything is in a small letter and then accept. And you can see that test cases are actually running inside the container. That's so awesome, right? And see, this is my Chromium browser. You can see data Chromium here, right? That's so amazing. And you can see the console output here. The test cases are running. You can see username, password, whatever. And you are searching for MacBook, searching for iMac, the search test cases that I'm talking about, which is absolutely working fine. Okay. So if you really want to close this session, you can close it and you can check some other browser also. You can check that. So that's so amazing. You can just keep checking. Yeah. And once everything is done, sessions are automatically gone, means all the test cases are done. And then again back to 0. And then you can say that, okay, yeah, out of 15, one test case got failed, maybe because of some Playwright error, maybe because of some exception, or maybe something else that we are getting. But that's okay. And here we can see, yeah, test cases are actually running on my Selenium grid machine. Same thing, you can just host it on AWS. That I can tell you maybe in upcoming chapter one. I can take one more session on this and then we can host everything on the AWS and then we can run Playwright test cases over there. So in your code, you don't need to change anything with respect to the hub URL. This is what is written in their documentation also. See this carefully, the documentation. It's saying that it's running on Selenium Hub. And okay, it's saying that you just need to add this that we have already added. And after that, that's it. If you file an issue, please include this using Selenium Docker. Also, you can do that. So we are actually using Selenium Docker. We have created our own Docker compose file and then run Playwright with this particular command. And that's it. If you're using Selenium 3 grid also, that also we can do that, but better to use Selenium 4 grid machine. And then see if you file this, looks good. See, it's written. You don't have to change your code. Just use the browser type launch option as usual. And that is what we are using it actually in the Playwright factory. This browser type launch option, that is what we are using it. Perfect. So this is a very good thing that they got integrated with each other, like Playwright integrated with the Selenium grid. Later on, we will see that Playwright is running the test cases on browser stack or maybe on Sauce Labs or Lambda test as well. That also we can check it in upcoming chapters. So that's all for this particular video, guys. I'll do one thing. I'll check in this code. Let me push the code right away. Okay, so let's see the Git status. Couple of changes that we have done. So I'm just going to add it and then I'm going to commit -m. I'm saying that updated cross browser logic with Selenium grid and git push origin to the master branch. And you can just clone this particular project and this repository, you can clone it. I'll show you. This is a complete page object model series with the Playwright with Java that we have covered. And then that's it. You can also experiment the same thing. See, the complete project is available. It's free repository. You can just use it. So that's all for this particular video, guys. I hope you liked it. Please subscribe to the channel. There are many new things are coming on the channel. I'll see you in the next video. Till then, take care and God bless you all.